Okay, so here, quick tutorial, 9 diamond top string with brand new 9 diamond Jedi Mesh and a slime stallion prism. Let's see if I can get away with turning this a little bit so I can see. Oh, Jesus. Sorry about that. Okay, so this is not my top string. This is just a super standard. I'm just using my hands to stretch out the entire mesh because eventually I'll obviously string the entire thing, but this is just a very simple 9 diamond top string. So I'm starting with the 9 diamond side. I'm folding over to the next 9 diamond row. So when you look at it like this, there's only one row folded over on itself. These edges, the little, like the top part, are obviously going to be on the back of the head itself. Now, I have been stringing, I strung from one side to the other for my top strings for 18 years. I literally did a one head one time from the middle, and I'll never go back because so many times it'd be tight as it could be, but it just wasn't as symmetrical as I would like. And once I started doing it from the middle, I'll never go back. So just for the purpose of it, you can kind of lay it back here. Hole 1 and hole 9, the 2 on the ends are going to be for the tie-offs. But then I'm going to be, if you go from one side to the other, 2, 4, 6, and 8 are going to be with holes 1, 3, 4, and 6. So I'm going to go back to front. I can just, I'm moving it, I'll put it back there in a second. I'm going to go back to front through holes 4 and 6, going through both rows. As you can see here, whoops. So this is a style of top string that I'm tying the string to the plastic. I'm going through the mesh, but I'm not tying the mesh to the plastic. I'll do another one of those a little bit later. So I'm going to pull the string all the way through. So you see it like this. So you see it here. I don't need to worry about making it the string even just yet. So I go front to back with those 2 strings. I'm bringing these 2 strings through, like as I pull up like this, there is now this loop created. I bring each of those through and then each wide on each side. Now I'm going to put the 2 of them together. I'm going to make it so it's even. So those 2 are even and it's tight. Now I'm going to make sure I'm just kind of pushing back and forth. This is how I, so I'm always pulling towards the middle, whatever, from these top string holes that I'm doing. So I'm holding on, keeping this one tight here. So I did front to back here. Now I'm going back to front. This is the top string knot or cow hitch. Make sure that sits nice and tight. I want that to be as tight as I can get. Now on this side, I'm going to go kind of back and forth. When I pull in that direction, it pulls this knot towards the middle. I go back in the other way just to make sure that everything is nice and tight. This part right here, this string, very tight. Back to front through that hole. Make sure this should stay very tight. Think of a guitar string. You don't want to pull it so tight that it breaks, but if it doesn't stand, if it isn't like stiff, it's not tight enough. Now I'm going to go on both of those 2 holes of mesh that I went through on the folded over row. I'm going to go front to back with both of them. Now I'm going to go in this direction next. So I'm skipping 1 hole because I'm only going to do a 4-hole top string. So if this is hole number 1 in the mesh, I'm going to go back to front through number 2 to both sides, front to back through the plastic. Back to front. Make sure that's nice and tight. Front to back through that same hole that I just went through a moment ago. in the mesh. Now I'm not going to tie that side off until I have all 4 done. So the opposite goes for over here. That was hole number 2. Then this would make this one number 8. So back to front through both rows on hole number 8. Front to back through the plastic. String goes through the loop. Pull tight in both directions. Back to front through that same hole. Tie it nice and tight. Front to back through folded over rows of the mesh. Now just because I'm over here on this side, I'm going to be doing a double loop tie off over here on the first hole in the sidewall. So I'm going to go back to front through the the hole on the very end, inside out, kind of pull that tight to start. Back to front through that hole, inside out again. Now I'm going to I'm trying to make sure I keep tension in that string right there. Now I want to pull that as tight as I can. I'm going to go around one more time, but I want it to be tight to start. I want to be tight right now. Go back to front there, inside out for the third and last time. That creates the double loop tie off that you see. I want that to be very tight. See here, I'm going to double knot the end. So you see it's wrapped around. I'm holding tension in this part right here. And I'm going to try to bump this down to the plastic. This is how I keep my knots extremely tight. I use my fingernail on the string, and then I'm pulling out from underneath my fingernail. Now I pull that in. If I pull outwards this way, like the knot, I pull everything so tight that knot is being pulled into the plastic itself. Do the same thing over here, back to front through that hole in the very end. Inside out through sidewall hole number 1. Back to front through that hole in the mesh. Inside out again through hole number 1. And then keeping everything tight. Pulling it tight. Holding it tight. Back to front to the last time. Oops, come on. Inside out through hole number 1 for the last time, keeping everything tight. Pulling it super tight there. Holding it. Wrap around once, wrap around twice. Pulling everything super tight. Keeping it as tight as I can to the plastic. There we go. Now, as you can see, there is a little bit of a gap in between the plastic and the mesh. Totally fine. I see I've tied the string to the plastic, but I didn't tie the mesh to the plastic. We'll do that one in another video. But I keep forgetting about this one. There you go. That's awesome. Catch you on the next one. Keep stringing.